What is going on, everybody? It is episode 797 of Pop Culture Crisis. We are getting very close to episode 800.
Yes.
My name is Brett, and I am here with my co-host. Introduce yourself, please.
Hello, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. Happy Friday. It's been kind of a chaotic
chaotic Friday.
For only one of us. It's actually me. I forgot my laptop at home and had to race there, race back.
It was a whole thing.
It was a whole production. A whole brouhaha, even.
Hullabaloo.
It's fine, though. And also, if you have joined this episode from IRL last night when I told you to subscribe, thank you for being here and welcome. We will try not to scare you away.
Yeah, I mean,
we will try not to disappoint you.
The thing is like, most episodes are pretty well planned and organized.
Look,
and
this was planned yesterday.
Luckily, we got
were
started
fine.
on. Luckily, we got started on all of it yesterday to get ahead.
Yeah.
If we hadn't done that, we would be screwed right now. It would be hilarious.
Well, sometimes,
actually.
you know, maybe they just want quality time
with us. Just with us. Guys,
they do. That's why we're going to do a longer episode for 800 next week.
We're going to
going to start at 2 p.m. Eastern.
2 to 5, 2 to 6.
Well, I guess it depends on how many Superchats we have.
That's a good point. We'll have to. We'll worry about that when we get to it. I talked to Raymond today in passing. I said you should stop by for that. So hopefully you will come and hang out with us that day. But guys, we have a bunch of stuff to get into today. But before we get started, as always, hit the like button on this video and subscribe to the channel if you are new here and you have not subscribed here yet already. Perhaps you took Mary up on the offer. You came here to check things out and you have not subscribed yet. What the hell are you waiting for? Subscribe to the channel now, and remember to share the videos out with your friends and your family and your loved ones, everybody that you like, even the people that you don't like. In fact, the more people that you share these episodes out with, the more people that you share the segments out with, the faster the channel can grow. It is the best way to help us make organic growth on the channel. So thank you guys so much for that. So what are we getting into today? Well, because we are in the lead up to the Snow White remake release, we are still going to be talking about it. There's a whole bunch of news. Rachel Zegler decided to clap back at somebody who had something negative to say because she just can't take the high road. She hasn't learned anything from Gal Gadot, but also she is doing her own version of promoting this movie by going to castles and singing, which is what should have been the plan from day one. So we're getting into that, a bunch of other stuff related to it. Blake Lively has had a win related to her privacy in the case against Justin Baldoni. So we're going to talk about that. Also, Mary can kind of give some shine to the op-ed she wrote about it, right?
Yeah, I wrote an op-ed that once was titled Why Justin Baldoni Deserved Those False Me Too Allegations.
That's spicy.
I edited the title to be a little bit more palatable to the masses. And we'll get into my contrarian take on that.
Also, Mary wants to talk about Luke Belmar because Mary has been brainstorming.
I've been brainstorming.
She's been masterminding around a fire, and she wants to talk about Luke Belmar, who is also brainstorming and masterminding.
You probably haven't heard of Luke Belmar, but you might have seen the Johnny Walker memes on your algorithm. If you haven't, we're going to just show you an entire collection of my favorites. And we're going to dunk on this man because he's a clown.
There's a 20 from Weary Traveler.
Weary Traveler.
Got that one there?
I don't see it. Oh, wait, no.
Got
Happy Fantastic Friday. Friday night is upon us, and I can't think of a better way to end my workday than with my fourth cup of coffee and favorite background noise.
We love here at PCC. Look, everybody in this space wants to sell you on some cause. We don't want to be a cause. We just want to be your background noise.
There must be no better feeling than being a crisis actor on a Friday night. Like, I'll never have that.
Yeah,
you know, we'll never have that because we have to make the show happen.
Yes, I even thought about it too because, like, you know, we rotate out days where we cover on IRL, and I do Fridays, and I kind of realized I shot myself in the foot because I don't get that. My favorite time on Friday is Friday nights.
Yeah.
I love Friday night, like after work until bed. But now, you know, I've got IRL after this. So then all that extra time that you love is kind of cut down because I don't get home till after like 11 or 11:30. So it is what it is. It's fine, but we love it. So if you're ready, Mary, we can get into it. You ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Right. Oh, also, I did want to mention this because I have no reason to talk about this next week. I don't. But I do want to mention this. I saw it last night, and I thought you guys might find this funny. So So if you guys remember, there was a movie back in 1992. It was like a psychological thriller. It was called Single White Female. It was about a single white female. She moves in with a roommate to get over a breakup. Well, they're remaking Single White Female, and if you can see this picture right now, perhaps you're listening to this podcast, you might wonder why the women that they're tapping to be in this movie are not white. They're not
single.
They might be single. I have no idea.
They are female though.
But at the very least, they got women.
That.
So we've got Jenna Ortega and Taylor Russell, and props to whoever did the photo gathering for this, because they look like identical.
It looks like Jenna Ortega with a bad haircut.
Yeah, so apparently, from what I know about the movie, again, I did not watch this movie in 1992. I was very young. At one point, the bad character, the obsessive one, I think it's Hetty, like gets a haircut to look like her and tries to look like her and even like impersonates her. So the casting is spot on if they want to do that, almost to the point where like there should be comical references about how they don't look alike. Until they do, because they do look alike.
Then you said that this is basically what all of the actresses look like now.
Yeah.
They have the same basic look.
So Jenna Ortega is more unique looking than them, but you've got Taylor Russell, you've got FKA Twigs, you've got Zendaya, and you've got Zoe Kravitz, and they've all kind of been created from the same Borg factory. And if they were smart, they'd be making a movie about all of them together.
They were grown in the same petri dish.
In the same lab. And what's funny about that is I rewatched Enemy of the State last night. Oh my gosh, everybody, go watch this movie. If you have not seen it yet, go watch this movie. First of all, Enemy of the State was made about a guy witnesses a murder of a government, of like a politician, where this guy's trying to push through like a national security spying act for the NSA 3 years before 9/11. Okay. And in that, the main character played by Gene Hackman, not Will Smith's character, the other one's birthday, 9/11, 3 years before 9/11 happened. Oh. And the whole thing is, it's early Jack Black, it's early Jamie Kennedy, it's early Scott Conn, and the pace is like it never slows down. Once it gets going, it's just one crazy thriller. But the point I'm making is that Will Smith had an affair in this movie. His character had an affair with Lisa Bonet, who is the mother of Zoe Kravitz. So even back then, it was already starting. The Borg was already being formed in the early 90s.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's like a CIA project.
It probably is.
They came up with this look that was going to take over our screens decades ago.
Probably. I mean, I think it's done purely for utilitarian reasons, meaning that they can cast them widely. Like, Jenna Ortega can play someone Hispanic. She can play someone apparently white because she's in a movie called Single White Female.
She can play someone white presenting.
Correct. And from what I understand,
are they going to call it single Latina?
Single BIPOC female, as Shane.
Like, what are they going to do with this? They're not white. I don't understand. Are they just going to say single female?
I kind of love the lack of just the I don't give a fuck attitude they have. They're like it's kind of like the Black Panther meme about getting Ryan Gosling to play T'Challa. Like, at a certain point, you just don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Also interesting is that Taylor Russell is going to be in the Thomas Crown Affair reboot that they're making, written, directed, and starring Michael B. Jordan, who's he just seems to want to direct and write everything he does now. So,
which is honestly, in my opinion, kind of narcissistic, but
it allows him to pick the roles he wants, right?
We have a 20 from Value in You. Brett, Mary, what ultimate careers would you guys like to pursue? Is it more and bigger podcasts with different subjects, or maybe something completely different? Thanks for all you do, and TGIF.
TGIF, guys. Do you think about that?
Honestly, I have not thought that far ahead because I don't know if in the future I'm going to want to focus on career anymore.
Or home. Yeah.
And I mean that. I genuinely don't know. It's going to be something you figure out when you get there.
Yeah.
I'm not going to presume to know right now. Yeah. But probably something in this space, even though I had no anticipation of doing something like this just a few years ago.
I would be willing to tell you that I don't know if I'm necessarily talented enough for it, but I would like to stay in the space. Do this. First of all, do this. I mean, there's no point in fostering this show and building it up to what it is now to just get rid of it until, people move on. Obviously, everybody kind of advances in their career and changes, but probably something in the producing space and to help other people create, because on camera is not my natural setting, but I do like the process of building out shows and finding the stuff to talk about and having the bullet points about whatever it is that you want to discuss, and maybe doing that for someone else, or and then maybe do my own stuff on the side if I was allowed to. But
one thing I definitely want to do for the long run is writing. I'm definitely going to continue doing that for as long as possible.
You always seem to be very excited when you get done writing a piece.
Yeah, because usually I don't get to think for that long.
Well, that doesn't say much about our show, but that's okay, guys. Let's go ahead. Let's get started.
Yes. The last time that we talked about Gwen Stefani was during the Christmas season, when she used an opportunity to promote the Hallow app. It is the most popular Christian prayer app founded by Catholics. I promoted it last night on IRL, in fact.
Yes, you did.
But they have a whole host of celebrities that are now promoting the app, and I wouldn't have suspected that would happen years ago. I learned about the existence of Hallow way before celebrities like Chris Pratt or Mark Wahlberg were involved in promoting it. Now
it's like Mark Wahlberg, you expect it. He's kind of
he's always been open about his faith.
Even Chris Pratt feels like one of those things where you don't know whether he necessarily was like that, or if just wearing a Gadsden flag shirt one time pigeonholed him by a bunch of weirdo leftists.
Yeah, and then he made that comment about how he said that he's not religious.
I don't even know if I believe necessarily that he meant that.
Maybe he
didn't. He was walking it back.
Yeah, I don't know what that was about. But Gwen Stefani has continued promoting Hallow ever since, and now she's promoting their Lent Pray 40 challenge as well, and receiving some backlash for that, but not quite as much as she got for this tweet.
Before we get started, how is your Lent 40 day? How is yours going?
Personally, I am not doing the Hallow challenge.
No, but you're doing your own.
I'm
regular.
doing my own thing. I am fine.
You're not having taco. You're not going.
I'm surviving.
I need some Taco Bell.
I'm surviving. It's not that big of a deal, and it sometimes blossoms into something bigger than you thought it would. Because if I'm just at the grocery store and I see something I want, like I was looking at ice cream, I was looking at Halo Top, and I was like, I know I didn't give up ice cream for Lent, but I'm going to walk away right now because I don't need this, and I am suffering just the teeniest, tiniest fraction compared to Christ's passion. I can do this. I can walk away from this.
We all have faith in you.
Yes, and I've been taking more time for prayer as well, and that's what they're promoting, so I'm totally for it. But Gwen Stefani put out this ad. I would like to show that first.
Okay, so we got this here.
Are you looking to grow closer to God this Lent? I'd love to invite you to join me in praying every day leading up to Easter on the Hallow app. I love this app, and I use it every day. For Lent, they're doing this incredible 40-day prayer challenge. You'll join millions of Christians around the world, including the incredible Mark Wahlberg, Jonathan Rumi, Father Mike Schmitz, and so many more in meditating on Jesus' way to the cross. It's going to be the most transformative Lent of our lives. Download Hallow and join me in prayer this Lent. God bless.
I'm thinking that Blake Shelton's like, you can't be in a room alone with Jonathan Rumi.
Why? Because he's so holy.
I think she's just a little starstruck. When you've worked in that industry your whole lives, you need a different type of star to really awe you.
They fell in love under circumstances some would say are suspect, but I don't know. The official story is that she got a divorce and an annulment from the Vatican before remarrying, which shows that she is dedicated to her Catholic faith. Most wouldn't do that.
I was looking at yesterday, I was like, she was born in 1969. Holy crap! Because I was looking at her.
She looks
Wikipedia.
incredible.
And I didn't see anything there mentioned about I was actually wondering. I was like, did she get an annulment? Because I know she'd been married twice before. Because she was married to Gavin Rosdale, The dude from...
She's been married once before.
Okay, to Gavin
Blake
Rossdale.
Shelton. Yes,
Yeah.
that's the one that
But
she got
before that, she...
annulled.
Oh, I'm sorry. Before that, she was in like a long-term relationship or a relationship with one of the dudes from No Doubt.
Right.
But she was married to Gavin Rossdale for years.
So after this Hallow ad came out, I didn't see a whole lot of negative responses, but there were definitely some. One said, "This has to be a joke. I'm crying. It is so bad. Someone please pour cold water on my head." I don't understand why Gwen Stefani being a Christian upsets you that much.
I mean, I do.
Another one said, "She's just a girl praying in a brainwashed world." Really clever. "Don't speak, Gwen." Another zinger there.
I mean, her songs are ripe for being used for headlines.
"This is what moving to Oklahoma does to a person." I don't even know what that means. So she doesn't live in LA, therefore
she's religious.
Isn't a person anymore. And then another one said, "Nice that Mark Wahlberg is taking a break from assaulting people." There's just a lot of bitter people.
Bro caught a case in like the 80s and they're still holding it against him.
And then Chris Brown is just out here chilling.
Well,
like,
you
no
know,
one
like,
cares.
and the difference is Chris Brown did I'm sorry to say it, the smart thing. He just didn't apologize.
Yeah.
He just moved on with his life, and it may not be the right thing, but it's definitely the smart thing. Absolutely,
to do.
There's
Yes.
a difference there.
Just a bunch of bitter Reddit tier atheists really didn't like the fact that Gwen Stefani was speaking about her faith more than she had previously. But it got to a fever pitch when she tweeted praise for Jonathan Rumi, who, if you didn't know, plays Jesus in the Chosen series.
He does.
She saw Jonathan Rumi's interview on Tucker Carlson's podcast, and she said, "Wow, at Jonathan Rumi, you are a powerful, inspirational human. What an enlightening, intelligent, beautiful interview. Thank you for being you."
I could have told her. Here, this is the thing. Any celebrity who's
What?
going to push away from like the far left should hire someone to make them aware of the things that are going to cause a stir. And anything with Tucker Carlson is going to cause a stir if you come from a mainstream fan base.
It's funny, though, because I don't think Gwen Stefani is really in the political
Well, that's what I'm
space.
saying. She doesn't know.
Just saw that it was a Jonathan Rumi interview,
Exactly.
and she probably likes The Chosen and innocently watched it, thought that it was a great interview and wanted to say something nice, and then all of these people lost their freaking minds.
I actually find this type of information as a burden most of the time, because when you know about stuff like this, you're already anticipating the crazy shit people are going to say to you even before you post it. And living that way, while maybe preferable depending on, better forewarned is forearmed, there's a lot less whimsy.
I hope she's someone that posts and then doesn't look at the replies. But here were some of them. "Oh, Gwen, becoming a right-wing grifter." The word grifter has lost
It has no meaning.
all meaning.
No meaning whatsoever. Like it is actually one of those words that I don't know if I've ever used it as a terminology for a specific person, because the way I see it is like, I can't know what's in your heart. And I can't know whether you've had a change of heart. You could show me 5 posts from somebody where their viewpoint completely changes. I can't know for sure intrinsically whether that is because they just decided that this was a better course of action, it would make them more money, or if they just read about some stuff and changed their opinion. I don't know. I can't know. Therefore, it's not really a viable argument.
That's exactly what I was trying to say last night on IRL in regard to the debate over the use of the phrase Christ is King, because it's a useless argument to have. You're asserting that you can read someone's conscience and understand what was going on in their heart when they said or posted something. You never will know for sure.
You could maybe make the argument that if you know enough about the person's digital footprint and the way that they speak in other posts, that you could make it a general assumption. But even then, that's just an assumption.
Yeah. Another one said, "Gwen, as a longtime fan, you're making it harder and harder to keep supporting you. Please don't platform Tucker Carlson, the Russian propagandist."
As if he needs platforming. He's got his own network.
He
can
literally
platform
has
himself.
a platform.
He is the platform.
He is the platform. Like, what do you mean? How is she platforming anyone? She reacted to something he did.
I agree with Zachary Bloom in the chat. He says right wing has also lost all its meaning. Yes, yes. Like people have told me, they're like, I can't believe you became like a right wing person. I'm like, I'm really not really. So
another one said, you need a reality check, this is heartbreaking. And then everyone is posting about this scene from White Lotus recently. Have you seen the clip?
The one at the boat launch. Yeah,
these three like white rich women at dinner together, they find out that their friend is a Trump voter, and it gets really awkward and tense. And I think that the clip showed more about the way that liberals are incapable of having social interactions with people who disagree with them. Not the other way around.
My the most presumptive I can be is, and maybe the unfairest I can be towards another human being, is if I just don't think that you're capable of agreeing to disagree on something, I will just save it. I will just not give my opinion because I literally don't have faith. And that's not really necessarily fair or even all that kind, but a lot of times I'm like, look, you don't seem like the type of person who can agree to disagree. You don't seem like the type of person who would be willing to listen to my opinions and assume that they're being given to you in good faith. Therefore, for the sake of whatever we have built as a friendship, or even in cordial settings to somebody who we may know through, I guess it wouldn't be work, but any other many forms of social settings, I just will save it. Because first of all, I don't care enough about I don't feel strongly enough about my opinions. Like, it's extremely narcissistic to believe that the world needs to hear everything I have to say. And every person, like, I get the chance to do that here.
Yeah.
That's great. I don't need to go out into the world and share it with everybody. It's not like I have some groundbreaking views on anything, and I'm not going to be changing this person's mind. Literally, because I don't care.
This show is a huge reason why I don't tweet more often, actually. And I noticed that when we're on the weekend or on a break of any kind, I'm more likely to post on Twitter because that's like where I'm going to put my thoughts out.
See, I'm the opposite, actually, because most of the time the stuff that I tweet about just ends up not being a topic for I tweeted about single white female, but it was just like it was just LOL, LMAO even. But there's not 8 minutes worth of discussion. Sometimes it's nice to just share a thought and not have to worry about turning it into content.
Another one said Gwen is in her Trump era. And then lastly, knew she was a right-wing grifter when she started promoting a Bible app.
What does that mean for her? What is is the grift like, sign up at Gwen20 to get 20% off your Hallow app, and she's going to get the measly kickbacks from that? She's like a gazillionaire.
I just, okay, I have like, in my mind, isn't it like 60% of the country identifies as Christian at this point? Maybe more.
I thought it was more.
Maybe
it was like
more.
70%.
70% or so of Americans identify as Christian. Are we going to say that they're all right-wing grifters?
And that's the thing.
That they're all extremists?
I'm still very aware and friends with people who they're just not inherently so deep into politics that they don't really understand that their left-wing political beliefs are an anathema to their religious beliefs.
Yeah.
They go to church. I guess back in the day you'd call them maybe blue dog Democrats, fans of unions. Probably don't think much about all of the wedge issues that seem to populate both sides of the aisle now, but they would identify themselves as lifelong Democrats. And I'm like, I've tried to explain to them, these are people that I can talk to about that stuff. I'm like, your religion makes you the enemy of a large percentage of your own voting, of your own political party, and that's growing every day.
Yeah.
Like, that will only be getting worse.
Yeah, definitely. And it's become more and more polarized, and I think that's a good thing, actually. It's like blessing in disguise, because that means that if you actually believe in what your church teaches, you're going to stick around, and if you don't, you won't be there anymore.
Yeah.
That's how it should be. And then someone replied and said, Satan lover. And that person said, I worship him every night. So someone who is joking about worshiping Satan is in Gwen Stefani's replies, calling her a right-wing grifter for promoting Hallow.
Again,
this is all from people who have become just debilitatingly unhinged over politics and religion. And also a lot of people who are obsessed with saying, as a fan, the people who say that came up with an idea of who this person is and created a parasocial relationship with them. And they decided that Gwen Stefani was going to be someone for them.
It's as bad
And then when she's not that, then they get extremely angry and like almost ill at the thought of it.
It's as bad as the ones that say, yikes, not a good look.
Yeah.
It's concern trolling designed to get you to...
you thought you ate...
It's designed to get you to change your behavior and fall in line with what they want you to think. And that's kind of pathetic.
But good on Gwen Stefani.
Again,
you, queen.
I would love to know what the grift is. Like, she will live in wealth forever based off royalties alone.
She's not doing this for the money. She's clearly doing it because she believes in it, and that is antithetical to the term grifter. It would only be grifting if she didn't believe what she was saying.
Yeah.
Makes no sense.
All right, let's move on. So, guys, did you know that Mary herself started a revolution?
I did. Yeah, I honestly feel so vindicated on this. Usually when we're talking about Gen Z, we're like, oh, they eat Tide Pods, they can't go to job interviews, they can't function like normal human beings, they can't do phone calls, etc. And I'm like kind of joining in on the dunking. With this one, however, I am fully with my generation on this one. Gen Z is eating packing peanuts. Let's go! Fully endorse this. I don't care about the consequences. I'm not a crunchy person, so I don't even care about the harmful ingredients.
Unless it's the crunch of packing peanuts.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they're not actually crunchy. You might think that they're crunchy.
Given the name peanuts and all.
Yeah, on first glance. But really, they are kind of like...
Sometimes Mary sees this, she goes, pathetic.
I'm just going to say, I was doing this before it was cool. I started this
hipster
trend.
of...
I am the hipster of eating biodegradable packing peanuts, and I'll own that forever. This is going to be part of my brand now, and people should know that. So Vice did a report on this trend. Not sure if anyone told you, but you're absolutely not supposed to eat those packing peanuts. They're not real peanuts. Don't care, didn't ask.
They're like
Plus your
them.
Vice.
They're like seasoning them.
Yeah, that's what I don't understand. If you ever try a packing peanut, which I'm not telling you to do, it will taste like a Cheeto without cheese dust on it. I'm telling you, it's exactly the same because they're made of cornstarch. But Vice says they're actually made of styrofoam, which you don't want to consume, at least shouldn't want to consume them. You might think this warning is unnecessary, but apparently there's a growing trend of eating packing peanuts on TikTok.
You know, maybe this is, like we've been seeing those stories lately where it's like medical examiners are looking at bodies and finding brains with like 1% of plastic in the brain. Maybe it was just these people that are dying.
They don't have plastic in them. The cornstarch ones don't have plastic in them. I'm serious. Okay. And this is a little tip for beginners. You don't eat the styrofoam ones. You eat the cornstarch ones, if that even needs to be said. This habit seems to have originated from the brand Lush, a company that claims to use edible packing peanuts. Again, even these are not real peanuts, but vegetable starch-based alternatives, which still don't necessarily equate to safe consumption. Other brands are using biodegradable packing peanuts that are better for the environment, but still not recommended to eat. While the non-styrofoam ones might not harm you, it doesn't mean you should eat them. They're just tossed freely into a package that's been who knows where, sitting around for who knows how long.
It is fair to point out that they might be sitting in like a dirty warehouse.
Okay, you could say that about literally any processed food. If you eat any processed food, you have zero room to talk about this. The non-styrofoam cornstarch packing peanuts have less ingredients than any random cereal or Pop-Tart you could buy at the grocery store, and you can pronounce all of them. Not to mention, health experts warn that even those deemed edible and safe for consumption still can have adverse health effects. They asked an expert. Oh,
It's like the weird.
okay, that changes everything.
It's like the weird connection between smell and somebody mentioned the grape smelling Play-Doh. So we have this
grape smelling Play-Doh.
We have this like spray bottle dish soap that smells exactly like Play-Doh smelled growing up.
Ew, I hate that.
Yeah, except for I love the convenience of the spray bottle dish soap, but it smells like Play-Doh.
Did you ever eat Play-Doh as a kid?
No.
Like, did you try it?
No.
Okay, I did.
Um,
Maybe I'm just weird. I don't know. I also ate dirt as a kid, but I think that's good. I think we should let kids eat dirt.
It'll build up your immune system, I'm sure.
Let kids eat dirt. Mary Morgan 2025.
This is not medical advice.
No, it's like it builds your immune system. And like, if a kid wants to eat dirt, they're probably right. I mean, they're just going off of
That's going to be our
instinct.
YouTube short for Monday.
So this expert warns many vegetable oils are high in omega-6 fatty acids, which, when consumed excessively, contribute to an imbalance that promotes chronic inflammation. Inhaling cooking fumes and consuming heated oils has been linked to lung, breast, colorectal, and prostate cancer. Nurse practitioner added that the ingredients in biodegradable packing peanuts, like cornstarch, potato starch, vegetable oil, wheat starch, and other plant-based materials, are heated to extremely high levels, often producing a known carcinogen called acrylamide. Additionally, biodegradable is not synonymous with edible, and some brands might include ingredients you don't want in your body. Still, people are tempted to try them, with some even seasoning them or dunking them in hot sauce. Good rule of thumb, just don't eat packing material.
I think I did at one point I think I cut the arm off of anybody who's my age knows who Stretch Armstrong is.
I don't.
It's a doll, and it's got arms and legs, and it stretches really, really, really wide. I think I cut the arm off after a long time to see what the material was, the gel on the inside.
You ate it?
I don't know if I ate it, but I definitely wanted to like figure out what was on the inside of the Stretch Armstrong doll. Like if this was a movie, so they're like, oh, he's going to be a doctor. He wants to look inside.
I also don't know if I've admitted this on the show before, but heck, why not? I have eaten chalk. Like, I have definitely done that. Not saying that I'm telling you to do that, but don't yuck my yum. I don't have pica anymore because I am not iron deficient.
Somebody mentioned pica in the chat.
I'm no longer iron deficient. Not to worry, guys. So I don't have cravings for chalk and gravel anymore. I'm not eating that stuff. And I actually don't even eat packing peanuts. I just have in the past. And I didn't. I'm alive and well today. Nothing's wrong with me. Right?
I was going to say, I mean, you're a fantastic. You would be a fantastic argument that all of this stuff is maybe perhaps not as bad for you as you think.
I lived.
She's fine.
So let's look at some examples of this trend.
Yeah, let's watch this one.
People are doing taste tests.
So there's this conspiracy going around online that there's a 1 in 4 chance that when you get a package that the packing peanuts are edible. So we're going to see if I got lucky. Kind of tastes like plastic. It's dissolved a little. I don't think these are plastic. I think I got the edible ones.
I feel like he added the crunch sound effect there. Like the lobster.
This is ASMR.
Do I have some salt? Oh my gosh. I'm literally... Let me get some olive oil.
Put some
These are
everything
so
bagel
good.
seasoning.
I still don't know if these are the edible ones, but hopefully they are. 10 out of 10, I recommend. These are delicious. I could literally eat these like popcorn. So there's this...
Meanwhile, bro is literally eating plastic. I just know if Alex Clark saw this, she would be apoplectic.
So angry right now.
it would just shatter her entire world.
Makes me think of the scenes in iZombie where she makes the brains more edible by cooking them into certain meals. Yeah. Okay.
Like pad thai.
Yep.
Pad thai brains.
Here we go.
In my last video, you see me eating this. This is not styrofoam. Packaging peanuts are typically made out of plastic. These are just made out of cornstarch and water. The way you can tell they're not made out of styrofoam is they dissolve in water. They're eco-friendly and safe if your pet consumes them by accident. In my last video, you see
Okay. Maybe the hint here is like, if they have to make it so that your dumb pet won't die when they consume it, that maybe it's though okay, not the greatest idea. That's all I'm saying is like, if they have to make it safe for your stupid pet, then maybe the idea of you consuming it puts you on the same brain level as your stupid pet.
All I'm saying is, if Vice is going to fearmonger about cornstarch packing peanuts and not hormonal birth control, there's been a massive there has been a massive lack of priorities here, and we're just not even having the same conversation. So
here we go.
I endorse this.
This is not styrofoam. Packaging peanuts are typically made out of plastic. These are just made out of cornstarch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought.
In my last video,
if you don't want to be like the first guy and eat plastic, you need to do the test under a faucet first. And if any of you try this out at home, not that I'm telling you to, please report back with your experience and give us a rating out of 10.
Frosty Chaos is slandering me in the chat, says Brett would feed Mocha packing peanuts. I would never do that. I would never do that.
Would Mocha even eat the packing peanuts? Mocha just eats everything.
Mocha is dumb, but I don't know if Mocha is that dumb.
I guess I'm dumber.
Well,
Mocha.
you know, it's. I mean, I imagine it would be more like Mocha would would want it to smell a certain way before trying to eat it. It wouldn't smell like anything.
I see.
So.
Yeah.
All right. Guys, let's move on. Let's do cringe and cute of the day. If you are new here, we do this every single day. We do cringe of the day and we do cute of the day. Cute of the day, we have viewers of the show submit their pets because everybody in the world likes to show off their pets. This is a proven fact. It's science. So let's look at this here.
Science.
This one is from Salty Bag of Nuts. Hattie Patty is on the left, turns 5 today. Special birthday treat in a song. I think they are a little freaked out and uncomfortable. This was my kid's idea, so it's okay.
Yeah, I agree. If it's the kid's idea, it's okay.
Oh my gosh, it's got the hat on it.
You hate that.
It's better than, I mean, are those like skirts? That's worse than putting it in a sweater.
Isn't that just a blanket? No, that is in fact a dog skirt.
Oh boy.
Sort of like a tree skirt.
You're humiliating them. They feel embarrassment. I can tell.
They don't
I know
even
cats
know.
feel. I know cats feel embarrassment because every so often Toast will try to jump up on the bed and miss, and then walk around like a what? Nothing happened.
Cats do feel embarrassment. I don't think dogs do, and they definitely don't know it's their birthday.
Okay.
But it's for the kids.
This is from Devin. Says the majestic fence cat.
Extremely majestic.
Wow, those eyes are wide.
That's beautiful.
Okay, let's do cringe of the day.
Love the tail.
That one from yesterday. Here we go. Elon Musk. And it says the autistic founder tries to prove he is more autistic than Elon himself.
You now for 2 years to tell you that I'm also a super genius like yourself.
Okay.
I'm not sorry.
I'm not sure I'm one, but all right.
No.
Damn, he hit him with the humility return.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. I'm not. I'm just saying serious. This is to all benefit of Tesla shareholders in the world. I am a capitalist like yourself. I am also a level 2 stage. I've been waiting for 10 years now for someone to give me a second look, a full second look. And if they did.
Pause. Thank you. That was pretty bad, right?
You know, I get that feeling. It's that if you've never spoken on a microphone before in front of a group of people, there's like a tension to it. And if you're already kind of, I guess what the term would be neurodivergent, it's worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there more?
Yes.
They see a very advanced mind in front of them. So I'm asking you today.
So he's saying, like, I'm not like most geniuses and people aren't noticing. He's a pick-me.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you give me a second look?
Okay. I mean, I'm not sure what a second look in what I'm not sure in what regard.
I would like to come on
I
board
hate this so much.
as vice chairman of Tesla.
Well, we don't really have a vice chairman spot, but
I mean, I love that the guy's just stone-faced the whole time.
yeah. I mean, I think that's you know, I don't think I'd have to say no. I'm probably sorry.
I'm sorry. I can also apply for a future CEO position, but I would at least I would like to come on the board of the directors.
If it's a troll. It's an epic troll.
Yeah.
It's an incredible troll.
I've been asking to speak to you now for 2 years.
Okay, I'm so glad that that is over.
He's going to apply to be the CEO of Tesla.
I mean, you know, in the chat, Farfig Nugan is right. You miss every shot you don't take.
Sure, if you took it to its logical conclusion.
Bro, like, shoot your shot. That's the saying. Like, you never know. You never know. Woo. In the chat, Alec says, cringe, dude. Well, yeah, that was cringe of the day. That's what happened. All right. Now that that's over with and I'm scarred for life, let's get started.
The Snow White press tour continues, this time with Rachel Zegler making a stop in Spain to sing Waiting on a Wish in front of an audience. And in the backdrop, you see this beautiful castle, which they say was inspiring the castle design for the movie. And she noticeably is not speaking to the audience. She's only singing. So far, I have not seen a single Rachel Zegler interview related to Snow White. She is only being tasked with singing the songs and then walking away. Sing the song, walk away. It's a simple formula.
A handler shows up on stage, grabs her arm and escorts her away.
Full-on vaudeville. They get a shepherd's crook and hook it around her neck and yank her off the stage once she's done singing. That's been Disney's strategy this whole time. I hope it continues. And whoever came up with it deserves a raise. But some people were not satisfied with the way that she sang this song. I think that, if anything, Disney is to blame for making it into pop music. But I posted about this and someone replied, Snow White doesn't belt classic pop. She whistles and hums. And this was brought up in one of Rachel Zegler's Instagram comments. Already we're seeing that she feels the need to respond. She feels the need to clap back every single time.
Is this a Gen Z thing?
Like,
it's a millennial Gen Z thing. They cannot let it go.
They need to correct the record on
there is power.
Every single opportunity they get.
Like, I would like to give her the advice, like, there is power in not responding. Like, imagine a world where you're like outing yourself as like having the time to do this. Just be like, bro, I'm busy.
Or just pretend you're busy.
That's what I'm saying.
Just
like,
pretend
like
busy.
I'm busy. It's like, you know, the people who are like this doesn't bother me, but then they respond and it proves that it does
Millie
bother
Bobby
them.
Brown,
yeah, like, don't do that. Like, you're especially in her position where she's behind the 8 ball and she's got a lot of bad like a lot of bad energy leading up to the release of this. The best thing you could do is to just put it out there and let the public take it as they do.
I can't believe they're still letting her have access to her social media during this time. So this person commented on her Instagram, "No thanks, Disney, was it so difficult to cast a soprano?" They're saying that she's singing in this lower register that no one recognizes as a Snow White performance, and I agree. And she replied to them and said, "I am a soprano. West Side Story is now streaming on Disney Plus." Heart emoji, apple emoji. What I despise about it is that she's still playing nice. Like, she's like, oh, I'm just going to innocently
respond
in a little tiny bit of a correction here. But, like, all positivity and love. Like, no, if you're mad at this person for saying that you're not a soprano, just be like, fuck you. Like, I'm a soprano.
She's literally, her face is as red as the apple as she's responding.
If you're angry, just show that you're angry or say nothing.
Or don't say anything.
But don't try to pretend like you're being nice at the same time. It's just not a good look. So she couldn't help herself. They did let her do a little bit of a meet and greet with the fans in the audience here.
We do have some photos. Here we go.
Rachel Zegler meeting mini princesses in front of the castle. That's sweet.
Yes, it is.
I'm sure they have no idea what she's like.
Yes, and that's what I'm saying.
That's the goal.
This would be the best thing for them is perform and then greet the potential fans after the show. No interviews, no press. Don't bring that guy, that sniper from Variety whose job it is to just torpedo every movie that comes out. with sound bites.
If Snow White by Thor.
That guy's kind of my like in the most like evil way. That guy's kind of my hero.
Oh yeah.
Like he's so good at ruining it for everyone.
I will never forget him on the red carpet for Thor: Love and Thunder, going like, "What was it like to see your Thor ass on screen for the first time?"
You just know she deleted this photo as soon as she took it.
Well, the negative headlines continue churning out. Daily Mail reported Rachel Zegler's career is on the brink. Insiders spill on the actress's deepest fears if her woke Snow White flops, and say it's one massive headache after another. But
sorry.
I don't think this is going to handicap her career in any significant way.
I love that this is from a guy named Clapper of Cheeks. It says, R.I.P. the box office.
She continues getting roles, and I don't think that her career is going to grind to a halt because of her behavior.
I mean, people have short memories anyways, and her target audience isn't the people that are in this movie. It's not like there was this same disdain for her when she was promoting Y2K. Even when she was promoting Hunger Games, which is a larger IP-based franchise, people said, people who cared enough might have made point to say like, well, nobody likes her, so no one's going to go see it. But the movie did fine, and nobody really said word one afterwards because nobody really cared. People are more angry about Disney than they are necessarily about her, but having her and Disney together is worse. But if you gave her, look, she's going to go do Broadway because that's what she's meant for. She's a theater kid. She's going to go do Broadway. She can come back later. I don't think it will actually change her behavior. I think it's once you start talking this way, it's ingrained in you. And there are plenty of examples of insufferable actresses, especially from the theater world, in their 50s and 60s. This will be her.
Oh, Patti LuPone.
This will be her cross to bear forever, and she's gonna torpedo everything she's in, most likely. But it's not going to stop her from getting roles, I don't think.
Yeah, she just announced that she signed on to play Eva Perón in Evita on London Palladium. So she's a theater kid at heart.
Guys, if I remember correctly, didn't Madonna play Evita or play Eva Perón in Evita? I could be misremembering that. It's from my childhood.
I'm not
so
sure.
Yeah. But
I think that us too, and a lot of the people who watch our channel have just no grasp of how not online normies are. Today I decided to do some market research, and I asked my hairdresser about what movies she had seen lately. Had she gone to the theaters recently? And the last one that she saw was Wicked. And she said, yeah, I'm not really a musical theater person, but it was like too long, but I enjoyed it. I liked the fact that they didn't use CGI. No, I didn't say anything.
See, you're smart. It's who cares?
I like that they didn't use CGI, blah, blah, blah. And she has no idea that Snow White is coming out. She had no clue. She has no clue who Rachel Zegler is. Normies don't care.
So the question is, I honestly did the same thing last night. I put this up because Alan Eng from Film Threat says, the early word I got from Snow White is that it's good, not great. Any weird stuff is not there. It will perform like Mufasa at the box office. Important, even though the movie may lose some money, $400 million box office is great for theaters. I don't know if this is going to do Mufasa numbers because we're getting farther into the year now.
Well, I just saw...
But I asked people, I said, so what is it? Is it going to be a sleeper hit? Is it going to be a total bomb? Is it going to do Mufasa numbers? Or is it going to do Little Mermaid numbers? If you remember, The Little Mermaid opened a lot higher than this is expected to open and only made 500-something million at the box office. But the budget for this movie is anywhere between $200 and $260 million before marketing, which means that its chances of making money are about the same as the Twins winning a World Series or the Vikings winning a Super Bowl, which is essentially non-existent.
It's still projected for a $50 million opening weekend domestically, and an expert says the unimpressive prediction could be down to the age of the film's IP. While previous remakes of films originally released in the 80s and 90s, that includes The Little Mermaid, appealed to millennials and Gen X who have children, They say Snow White may not be as recognizable a figure for younger audiences. Do you think that could have something to do with it?
No.
Just the fact that this is the oldest existing Disney princess?
I refuse to believe that suddenly fairy tales have just gone by the wayside and millennial parents were just reading their kids SpongeBob growing up. No, I think Snow White is still a character that matters. The thing is, though, is that
look up Cinderella. When did that come out?
Mufasa.
1950 is when Cinderella came out.
Mufasa did well at the box office by just grinding it out week after week, and Disney monopolized the IMAX screenings, so they made money and eventually surpassed Sonic, and that only opened to $30 million. But I don't know if you're going to monopolize the screenings with Snow White showings. I get the idea of showing Mufasa in IMAX because of the photorealism of it.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Yeah.
I don't know if that does the same for this. If it fails, I don't think that it's 100% to do with Rachel Zegler. I think that all of her comments may have damaged the online marketing, but in general, normies don't care, and there are probably going to be parents that take it. It depends on how well the movie does opening weekend, meaning that the word of mouth has to be really, really good to get people to come again. Right now, the only movie that I've seen that seems to have really great organic word of mouth going from a trailer was like Lilo and Stitch, which everyone seems very high on. And think I still think that movie could make $1 billion. Granted, that's got a lot more competition when it comes out. But people here in my comments kind of listed everything from Valiant Renegade says it'll come in under The Little Mermaid. John F. Trent, Valiant Renegade and John F. Trent, friends of the show, says big box office bomb. The damage is already done. 5 Foot Freedom says, I'll put money down that this movie tanks. I also think that a lot of it is people want it to tank. Like, if you're online and you're responding to me on X, you care because you're like us and you might be terminally online, and they want it to tank. But this is the same thing.
To prove a point.
People say this for everything, right? Like, I don't know if it'll tank. I know it's not going to, I don't think it's going to profit. Not at the budget it was.
One person who does not want Snow White to tank is Gal Gadot.
Yes.
She actually got cornered by one of the TMZ paparazzi recently and commanded everyone to go see it.
In her charming way.
Yes.
So excited to see the Snow White movie. I mean, do you
He's
think
driving
people
a
should give
Tesla. How wait. Guys. I was reliably informed that Elon Musk is a Nazi, so I don't know how it's possible that Gal Gadot, who is Israeli, would be driving a Tesla. That's a Tesla, right? Or my
chance and watch
have
it?
Have a good day. Of course, it's a great movie.
Thank you.
Wow, she could not have seemed less excited about promotion. She's like, I got places to be.
Maybe that's all that need be said.
She's
And
like,
then
look.
I mean, do you think people should give it a chance and watch it?
Have a good day. Of course, it's a great movie.
I'm telling you right now, her ability to smile saves her everywhere she goes. Like, literally, that would have been considered a rude interaction if it wasn't for this.
The smile at
right,
the end.
Right?
Yep.
She just saved it right there.
Yeah.
Like, that's a rude interaction 99 times out of 100. Yeah, go see it. Yeah.
Of course, it's a great movie.
Right there, she's like, fucking idiot.
Slams the door.
She slams.
Like, I'm so sick of hearing about this movie.
She said a slur of some sort when she closed the door. You know it. I know it. Everyone knows it.
And another cast member who was one of the voice actors for the dwarves has spoken about his disappointment that Disney has scaled back the press for this movie and canceled the London premiere. His name is Martin Kleba.
Is it this guy?
Yes, and he's voicing Grumpy in the movie. He tells TMZ he's bummed that Disney axed what should have been a massive premiere for the film, all because of ongoing controversies surrounding Gal Gadot and Rachel Zegler. He says that while Rachel Zegler, who plays Snow White, and Gal Gadot are entitled to their own political views, those personal opinions shouldn't have overshadowed everyone else's hard work, no matter how much bitching about them is on social media. He's no stranger to big Disney premieres, having played Marty in Pirates of the Caribbean, and he says Snow White deserved to be a major event, which it is in comparison. So he's speaking out in the midst of all this, and not even mentioning the fact that he wasn't allowed to be in the movie as himself.
I hate to say it, but as soon as I saw him, I was like, I have to IMDb. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that guy was the little person wrestler in an episode of Bones back in like 2000. I was right.
Yeah.
That's where my brain goes when I see.
Well, that's actually
he's in Electric State.
That's a good
up.
point because, as a lot of dwarf actors have pointed out, they have a limited number of roles that they can audition for.
Yep.
These were 7 of them that were offloaded onto CGI because Peter Dinklage threw a tantrum.
Yep, that's
one of countless blunders that Disney has made in preparation for this film coming out.
If you looked at if somebody just asked you to put out a list of all the things that went wrong in the promotion of this movie, they wrote this off.
It could be turned into a book.
Yeah,
honestly.
There will be behind the scenes movies made about this film. So,
the downfall of Snow White should be studied.
You will have to let us know in the chat, ladies and gentlemen, if you yourselves are planning to go and see it. I'm sure if you're a dude, you're not going to see it unless you've got kids and you're gonna to bring like your kids to go see it. But let us know down below if you plan to go and see this movie. I would be interested to find out whether anybody plans to. Mary's gonna go see it. I'm gonna.
We should review it. It's objectively a good choice.
We'll have to wait and see. All right, guys, let's move on. Let's do some super chats.
Shane H. Wilder said, "Happy Friday, Brett and Mary. So when is PCC getting a Hallow sponsorship? I already have a family and friends subscription, but it'd be nice for others."
It would.
Yeah, I did suggest that to Hallow the first time that I did a read for them on IRL. Maybe that's something that we could look forward to. Shane H. Wilder said, "Yes, I brainstorm. My shorts are scripted out. I have a notebook full of notes for 2 film scripts. One is taken from a nightmare Tim talked about."
What was the nightmare?
I wonder what kind of nightmares Tim has. Are they about Civil War?
What does Tim dream about? I have no idea.
I can't tell if Civil War is a dream or a nightmare for him. John Bert said, "Isn't Raymond gay? Let's repopulate Gaza, Ukraine."
What?
I don't know what that means.
I don't know.
Maybe it's an inside joke.
Let's hold off on the rest. We'll come back after. Let's
right.
move on. It's time to. We've got more Blake Lively news for you guys. We know how much you love that.
Yeah, Blake Lively just had a win in her legal battle with Justin Baldoni, as the judge has ruled her confidentiality order in favor of keeping this information private. She's trying to hide lawsuit information from the public. And I, for one, was relishing just the puny possibility that Taylor Swift would end up getting called to the stand when this eventually goes to trial, if it goes to trial at all. I knew it was unlikely, but I held on to hope. And because of this ruling, it's unequivocally not going to happen, because now all of her celebrity friends are protected, and they're also making concessions for trade secrets not related to the making of the movie. But a federal judge granted Blake Lively's request to limit disclosure of sensitive information in litigation against Justin Baldoni. This includes certain discovery material that is going to be for attorneys' eyes only. Given that the case involves celebrities and their publicists, Lively's attorney warned that some information could be leaked if the attorneys shared it with their clients. The information that only attorneys can see includes trade secrets, such as business and marketing plans and ideas for upcoming projects. It also includes clients' security measures, medical information, and highly personal and intimate information about third parties.
Here I was hoping to get a clue in about the next Mint Mobile ad.
So the last one, highly personal and intimate information about third parties, could mean
Taylor
a lot
Swift.
of things. Third parties means Taylor Swift, certainly, but also Hugh Jackman.
Yep.
And a lot of their celebrity friends who were semi-involved in this case. But the judge wrote, "These cases involve business competitors and allegations of sexual harm. Discovery will necessarily include confidential and sensitive business and personal information. The risk of disclosure is great. It could easily circulate by gossip and innuendo to those in the tight artistic community in a position to do harm to one or the other."
Will I get any information about Justin Baldoni's hair care regimen? That's what I need to know.
I bet that's on the rap sheet somewhere. Brian Friedman, Justin Baldoni's attorney, told TMZ, "We are in agreement with the court's decision." So arguably, this is not just a ruling in favor of Blake Lively. to provide a narrow scope of protections to categories such as mental health records and personal security measures that have never been of interest to us, as opposed to Blake Lively's exceedingly broad demand for documents of a 2.5-year period of time, which the court rightly squashed. That was her demand for all of Justin Baldoni's text conversations for the entirety of the time that they were working together. Not just with her or with people who were working on the movie, but all of his communications.
I'm like, does she not still have those? Does she just like dislike him so much that every time he sent him a text,
his conversations with other people who weren't even involved? Blake Lively was demanding access to his conversations with his mom. Like, that might as well have been what she was asking for. Brian Friedman adds, "We remain focused on the necessary communications that will contradict Lively's unfounded accusations. We will oppose efforts by Lively and her team to hamper our client's ability to defend against her attacks by incorrectly categorizing important information as trade secrets, especially considering there were no issues in providing these communications willingly to the New York Times."
Yeah, that was very easy for them to do.
Yeah. It's funny how she just blabbed and leaked everything to the press when she didn't think this was going to become a matter of public
I mean, anything that doesn't end in
interest.
him losing money ends up being a win for him because he's like an infinitely bigger name now than he ever was before.
She's, in an effort to destroy
Like, literally,
his career,
I was the
actually made his career.
There was like one person on earth who knew who this dude was, and that was me because Olivia made me watch Jane the Virgin.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew the actress that he's married to and not him before I watched that.
Yeah.
Like, he's married to a woman named Emily Foxler. I guess
Haters make you famous.
Yes, they do.
Like, Blake Lively is the hater that made Justin Baldoni famous.
Yep.
Blake's attorneys also said, "Today, court rejected the Wayfarer party's objections and entered protections needed to ensure the free flow of discovery without any risk of witness intimidation or harm to any individual's security. With this order in place, Blake Lively will move forward in the discovery process to obtain even more of the evidence that will prove her claims in court." You pointed out that Zach Peter, who has been covering this heavily on X, said this is not a win for Blake, or that it's barely a win for Blake. The judge said, "Why?" She said, "Because of my medical records and security." So the judge said, "Okay, your medical records and security will be protected." But she was fighting for all discovery to have an AEO protection. He granted it for medical records, security measures, trade secrets not related to It Ends With Us, and intimate info about third parties, including her celebrity friends. So Taylor Swift is now protected by this.
Well, thank goodness.
But I don't know, like, I feel like we deserve to live in the timeline where she was called to the stand and questioned by Brian Friedman.
Yeah.
Like, we deserve to be entertained by that.
Yes.
And have it televised for the nation.
Yeah. Wonder what
We
she
don't
would
get
say.
that because we can't have nice things. This is why I'm part of the Nothing Ever Happens gang. You know?
It does sometimes feel like nothing ever happens.
That really stuck with Tim when I said that.
That nothing ever happens?
Yeah. And then he told me that's because you had your political awakening when Trump announced.
Mm.
So this is just normal for you, but everyone who's older than you thinks this is all crazy.
I mean, mine is more the idea that just nothing ever changes, no matter what. Like they're talking about Trump getting rid of income tax to anyone under any household under $150,000. I'm like, nothing ever happens.
Yeah.
Like, maybe sure.
Not even no tax on tip has happened.
That one never felt like it was actually going to happen to me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, anyway, veering off from the political discussion, I wanted to call attention to an opinion piece that I recently published in the Daily Caller. And my argument was from a right-leaning, anti-Me Too perspective, why Justin Baldoni low-key deserved to get falsely accused by Blake Lively.
That is a spicy take.
He did. He deserved it. There's a difference between criminal and civil justice and actual justice. And I think that despite the fact that he's winning in the court of public opinion, had he not, that would have been his just desserts.
Maybe the idea here is that people have a hard time with the language of deserved it rather than his actions made it plausible.
Yeah, to me, that's not even relevant. Like, because we're never going to know what really happened. All we can tell so far.
No, I'm saying
is
his actions,
that
being a male feminist in general and having this attitude in an industry full of sharks made this plausible.
made it plausible
That he would be, that something like this would end up happening.
That he would get accused?
Either not just being accused, but also to be kind of spanked by somebody who's professionally a lot more vicious than he is.
Yeah.
In the worst possible way.
I think people are actually way too concerned with the facts of the case, though.
Explain that.
They're concerned with the fact that Justin Baldoni is innocent of what Blake Lively accused him of doing.
And they should be focused
Which,
on...
objectively, yeah, like, she's lying. We know that she's lying. That's not even up for debate anymore. But I just think that when you are culpable for fostering this culture of believing all women all the time, no matter what, maybe you deserve to face the consequences of that.
I think that a lot of people, especially people who consider themselves principled, like on the right, would see it as the type of thing. What I mean by that is like they see that as that's untenable. Like even if they had, like a lot of people will say that, like, look, you had it coming. Like you behaved that way.
He
whatever.
objectively did.
Yeah, but I think that there's still a fair amount of people, and I bet you there's people in the chat that would agree with you on that.
I mean, I will say Blake Lively and her attorneys know exactly what they're doing when they open her amended complaint with a quote from Justin Baldoni telling men that they need to believe women. This is actually a real quote from a TED Talk that he gave in 2018.
That was the first thing.
Why I'm done trying to be man enough.
When this story first broke, I was one of the first. I knew because I had looked into this dude well before this story ever came out and knew that he was the most blatant and over-the-top form of male feminist, beyond just the type of dude who says believe all women when somebody close to them faces accusations so that they can stave off the blowback. He was a dyed-in-the-wool male feminist, giving TED Talks, starting production companies to focus on issues of masculinity. He was everything that we have kind of dunked on for the last however many years. The difference is we've kind of always taken that perspective, and I think it still holds true most of the time, that a lot of male feminists are projecting. It's me doth protest too much, and they are hiding something through a veneer of goodness, right? Whereas he, since all of this has come out, at least in the eyes of the public, has shown himself to be a family man who loves his wife and kids, and that's the image that's being projected now. But it's not countering your point to say that the environment that he fostered beforehand was necessarily what led to something like this happening. You're right about that.
I don't know. I think that obviously most of the self-proclaimed male feminists are using that as a front, needless to say. And it's because of their own behavior that goes on behind closed doors and gets exposed later on. But it's actually worse that Justin Baldoni believes this shit. Like, it's actually worse that he is a true believing male feminist. That he's not a faker. It's actually worse that these are his real views that he was fighting for. I mean, it's worse in every imaginable way.
I think it's just, I can't take that position as a dude because false accusations, the lack of punishment that comes from provably false accusations is infuriating. There was that case that was just recently where the woman accused the Good Samaritan of raping her, and she got like 5 months in prison, and he lost his wife and his kids, and his life fell apart. As a guy, it's very hard for me to take
I've made
that
this
perspective.
point. That's completely unrealistic because when you're proven innocent in a criminal court, it means there wasn't sufficient evidence to prove that you committed the crime. It doesn't prove that you didn't commit the crime. That's how the criminal justice system works.
But
so how would you prosecute someone for false accusations?
It's the indignity of it happening at all. Like the idea that somebody eventually admits to making it up, like the woman, like the Duke lacrosse players or whatever it is, and says that she made it up, and then there ends up being video evidence of them somewhere else that night, and she gets a quarter of the time or half the time that they spent in jail for ruining their lives. Guys,
that sounds like a civil suit, but
but I'm just saying, like, as a guy, I can't necessarily agree on the perspective. Like, I'm not saying that his behavior doesn't foster that environment, but I don't think being an idiot means that you deserved what happened to you.
I don't think he was being an idiot. I think that he has a malicious worldview that was perpetrating exactly what you're talking about. He was literally promoting belief of false accusations publicly. So yes, he deserves it.
I would have to.
He deserves to suffer the consequences of what he was propagating on other people.
Chat, let us know what you think.
This was his quote, by the way. I never got to that.
Yeah, go for it.
Are you confident enough to listen to the women in your life, to hold their anguish and actually believe them, even if what they're saying is against you? And will you actually stand up and do something so that one day we don't have to live in a world where a woman has to risk everything and come forward to say the words, "Me too"?
So,
he is telling you to believe all women.
When was that quote from?
2018.
Yeah.
He was telling you at the height of the Me Too movement to believe all women.
And
he was promoting the belief of false accusations and then fell victim to them. Why would I feel bad for this guy or advocate for his interests exactly?
I'm not saying you should.
You know?
No, you're, and I'm guessing that there's going to be plenty of people in the chat that will 100% agree with you on that. I just,
he was literally throwing those people who are victims of false accusations under the bus and then became one of them.
And it's possible that he ends up getting his just desserts in this. I mean, I don't think so. I think he ends up actually honestly coming out better for this because it's raised his public profile. But I mean, there's been more than a few cases of men who have, worked in Hollywood, would have probably considered themselves male feminists and then fallen victim to accusations of their own. But
Mike Cernovich actually responded to my op-ed saying, "This is how I treat the Harvey Weinstein case. Objectively speaking, he's not guilty of the most serious charges. Subjectively, I don't care. It's what he wanted for everyone else."
Yeah.
So I don't know if they believe in karma in the Baha'i religion, but
they'd have to ask him.
Karma's a bitch.
We'll have to wait and see. I don't know if the goal, if your hope is that he ends up that he deserved what he's getting, then oddly enough, what he's going to end up getting, I think, is a higher profile, more money, and a larger spot on the stage. So, sorry, ladies, men always win in the end.
He is actually winning in the court of public opinion and likely in this case as well. But my point is, even if this didn't destroy his career like Blake Lively hoped, he still has the opportunity, and I would say the obligation, to retract his previous statements and admit his wrong.
Yeah, okay, so the other thing I was going to say is, like, if he comes out afterwards and is like, I'm standing on principle, and everything I said before, I still believe, then...
To me, silence would mean the same thing.
I roll my eyes at all of it. It's, though it depends on the type of well, I guess maybe pay attention to the type of movies he starts making.
Once this is all said and done, Justin Baldoni is morally obligated to retract what he said about believing women when they are making accusations in the Me Too movement. He is morally obligated to apologize. I actually am willing to go out on a limb and say that. Even though he's going to win in the end, true justice would also recognize the people who were wronged because of his influence as well.
We will have to wait and see what happens with all of it, but the op-ed looks great. All right, let's do some super chats.
Isaac S. said, I was on Mary's side with sitting right next to your date until she started advocating for a left-handed genocide in the Congo, SMH, yesterday. That totally happened.
Mary's just like, hey, if you're left-handed, you deserve to die alone and sad.
Well, you were the person who said people should suffer in silence and die young.
I was kidding. My point was more like, men, it's unbecoming of you to complain all the time. If you're suffering, just suffer in silence.
Shane H. Wilder said single BIPOC female. They're going to have to do that.
That's what it's going to be called.
Panda26 said, coming from the quartering first-time watcher.
Well, thank you.
Thanks.
We appreciate it. We hope you stay, and we hope you watch more.
Greg Duvier said, Enemy of State is one of my favorite movies. I blame that movie for not trusting the government and surveillance cameras.
Oh yeah, like go and I can't stress enough how like lightning fast the pace is on this movie once it picks up. I will say that the wife character is maybe one of the most annoying characters in like the history of movies. She's so insufferable. She's an ACLU lawyer who's actually saying smart things about the problems with surveillance, but she says it in the most insufferable way that you've ever heard. And it's definitely the definition of like his whole life. She's like complaining. And then he's like, yes, honey. Like, he actually, in this movie, he puts on a clinic on how to like sidestep every single like verbal trap she tries to set for you, an argument she tries to set for you to keep this is like what they would call the right thing to do back in the late 90s or early 2000s, because he can't stand up for himself, right? Even at the end of the movie, he kind of has to admit that she was right, and he doesn't ever get his moment of being like, honey, just shut the fuck up. But it's great. The movie's fantastic.
I had the controversial take of saying that Die Hard sucks because he's simping for his bitch wife. She was so like not a redeemable character. To be fair, in the movie, he did cheat on her. So like, he did?
Yeah. Well,
when?
not during the movie, but there's a prior relationship between. So in the movie, him and his character and Lisa Bonet's character have like a professional relationship where he goes to Lisa Bonet's character to hire Brill to do investigative work. And you find out that him and Lisa Bonet's character, I forget her name, they had like a relationship in college, and apparently they had like an affair later. Maybe I'm misremembering that part, but apparently they had like an affair, and his wife's like forgave him for it. They went to counseling, they stayed together. Maybe that's why she's so bitchy, so it's understandable.
I didn't absorb any of that plot line.
Oh, no, that's not Die Hard. I'm talking about Enemy of the State. Enemy of the State. No. In Enemy of the State, he had an affair, so maybe that explains her bitchy behavior.
Well, in Die Hard, there was no explanation or excuse for the way that she was acting. It was just insane. Marco said, hey, did you guys talk about that show with the cat in the Alien universe? What I heard anyway, they put cam on a cat, yet they use portrait mode.
Cam on a cat. I do watch those videos. I do watch those Instagram videos of that cat that's like a neighborhood menace that goes around and starts fights with other cats in Russia.
Oh, I've seen those. Yeah,
those are amazing.
How do you know that they're Russian cats, though?
I think the text was in Cyrillic on the screen.
Okay.
Maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe it was literally just a meme and somebody said it was Russian, but I thought it was Russia.
Pop Culture Junkie said the original single white female caused a trackable decrease in women actually getting roommates. So in the movie, are they roommates or lesbians?
Roommates. And so she breaks up with her fiance or something. They break up, and she then moves in with a lady who just ends up being nuts.
Oh, you know who I realized looks a lot like Jenna Ortega? Camila Cabello.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep.
I put it together. Sabrina Carpenter put Jenna Ortega in her music video as a stand-in for Camila Cabello because they were fighting over Shawn Mendes. Why are you fighting over Shawn Mendes? That guy is literally gay.
He never even goes to work.
He's literally gay.
He cancels
tours. He's not into either of you.
He cancels tours and goes and does ayahuasca in the woods.
And he has photos of men's hands in his camera roll.
Yeah.
And wears crop tops. He's not interested in either of you ladies. Shane H. Wilder said, saw an Instagram stream with Jonathan Rumi and Chris Pratt. Pratt said that he started listening to Bible in a year after the Hallow deal.
There you go.
Good things.
All right, let's hold off on the rest. Guys, we're about halfway to a second crisis party. Halfway there. Just letting you know. Let's move on because Mary has Mary has a vendetta against Justin Baldoni. Now she's got
Jaden Smith.
And then Jaden Smith.
Yeah.
Now Luke Belmar is the newest receiver of her rage.
Yeah, let me hop on my soapbox real quick. You might not have heard of him, but Luke Belmar is an influencer, an entrepreneur, and most importantly, a Sigma male who is always on his grind set. And he has a Capital Club course that he sells online to other aspiring entrepreneurs. And like most people who sell online courses, he is dubious in his motivations and his actual business acumen. Now, a lot of videos of him are going viral because you can kind of tell that he comes up with his wisdom on the spot and has no idea what he's talking about.
I mean, that just makes them very good at interviews. Like, it's actually its own separate skill set.
Yeah, but he's kind of like an off-brand Andrew Tate, but not even. He's like an off-brand Tristan Tate by many different...
I just remember a video of him being like, I think it was him, where he's like, yeah, we rented out the theater to watch Avatar, and then we left after.
Luke Belmar?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so he's aspiring to be like a Tate bro, or who else is in that space? Like Justin Waller.
Yes, I do have this video here. It's why you shouldn't watch movies. Here, I'll play this.
Okay.
I know we're getting out of order here,
Let's
but we'll
see.
watch this.
I think I watched 2 movies in the last 2 years, and they were kind of intentional. You know, we were in Dubai. We went to go watch the new Avatar movie, which was like a $2 billion budget. And this was after the Argentina World Cup win. So it's like ultimate ecstasy. What's going to beat it? Well, you're going to go watch Avatar. So we book out the entire theater, and within 20 minutes, we're just like, I don't want to see the blue characters out here running around, like whatever.
And it says, why watching movies
I think I
is a
watched
scam.
2 movies in the last 2 years, and they were.
So he's just too good to watch movies.
Bro's just too good to watch
He's
movies.
too preoccupied with his business.
Well, he's masterminding.
You know, he's constantly brainstorming. He has the mind of a mastermind. Luke Belmar is a self-proclaimed millionaire entrepreneur who has gained a large following on social media. He sells a course called Capital Club, which promises to teach people how to make money through investing and other business ventures. However, there is growing evidence that Luke Belmar is a scam artist. And this Capital Club actually held a meetup in Amsterdam over a year ago, where a bunch of Luke Belmar's followers gathered to hear his wisdom. He thinks he is the Socrates of a generation. And clips from that meetup have been all over my timeline because everything that comes out of this man's mouth is just a complete nonsense. One part in particular went extremely viral and turned into a meme. In this clip, he's bragging about how he got to drink Johnny Walker with Tristan Tate in the war room.
But duty free, fucking Johnny Walker. That night, sipping.
Refresh it.
Tristan Tate pulled up a video, his favorite whiskey, Johnny Walker. What do I do at duty free? Fucking Johnny Walker. That night, sipping the fucking Johnny Walker in the war room by myself with him, chilling. Why? I studied, bro. I knew what he liked. That's it. For example,
studied.
Tristan Tate pulled up.
He studied, bro.
Lawyers have been doing this for a lifetime, and managers and agents. It's literally part of their job.
No. Luke Belmar was the first person that came up with it because he studied. He studied. So the Johnny Walker meme has been everywhere, and now a bunch of Gen Z guys are clowning on him for this, and they've turned it into the Johnny Walker speedrun challenge,
here we
as
go.
you can see in this video.
Let me refresh it here.
Tristan Tate pulled the video's favorite whiskey, Johnny Walker. What do I do with the duty free fucking Johnny Walker? Then I sit in the fucking Johnny Walker in the room by myself with him chilling last anymore.
Oh my god!
4 seconds.
4.56.
The meme has been used to mock influencers, particularly those associated with the Sigma male archetype, by portraying them as pretentious or glazing others. They're particularly making fun of Luke Belmar for glazing Tristan Tate in that clip, like it's some kind of the deifying experience to drink Johnny Walker in the war room with Tristan Tate. It almost sounds like they were on a date.
Yeah.
And they do regard someone like Tristan Tate as like some kind of spiritual guru. Like, and this is the same thing that he's trying to cultivate with his own following, is that he has some indispensable wisdom to offer them that they could have never heard anywhere else. And you know what? He might actually be right, given that most of his followers are teenage boys coming from, sadly, fatherless homes. And they're not even getting the most basic of advice on how to operate as an adult, and also business advice and career advice. The most basic one being something you said, like attorneys have been doing this for decades, bro.
Yes.
Like it's not something that you came up with.
Like any type of like market research into the people that you're trying to work with is important.
Yeah, like duh.
It's important.
So then, the
Like
Luke
literally,
Belmar.
Harvey Specter does this in the show Suits all the time.
The second one I wanted to show is the Luke Belmar clip being shown to a random bystander and his reaction to it.
There you go.
Oh, this is another one.
Oh, not this one?
No, I just didn't have this one pulled up.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Of who? Take a look at this.
For example,
He's got a projector.
Yes.
Kristen Tate pulled up a video of his favorite whiskey, Johnny Walker. What do I do at duty free? Johnny Walker. That night, sipping the Johnny Walker in the war room by myself with him, chilling. Why? I studied, bro.
Well, don't know who he sat with, but it must have been somebody, I guess he studied and looked at and whoever, and I guess had a drink with him or sat next to him.
This is kind of what the kids are watching these days.
Okay.
Have you heard of...
I mean, I like that guy's like I go to work every day. I get hungry around noon. I have my box lunch and I eat. Why? Because I study, bro. I know what I want to eat, so I eat it at noon when it's lunchtime.
And the previous one was another Gen Z guy using these lines on the ladies.
Tate. So I saw a video with him. What was he doing? He was drinking Johnny Walker. So later, I went to the duty free, fucking Johnny Walker. Later, me alone in the war room with him drinking Johnny Walker. Why? I studied, bro.
He laced the final part, but he kind of ran through the
Well, no,
the
you
first
haven't
part.
seen
Oh,
the
there's
big
to it.
finish.
I saw you buying cookies at Target. And I thought, I'm gonna go to the girl. I'm gonna get some cookies. Me alone later in the war room with her eating cookies. Why? Because I studied, bro. So I'm just do it. It's all from me. I wanted to be with.
That's sure to have the ladies
He will
knocking
meet.
down your
He
door.
will meet his own Sigma female queen. He will.
I do.
He will
find
meet.
it
He
like,
will meet. He will meet a woman who loves brain rot as much as he does, and they will live happily ever after.
I find it encouraging that the target audience for Luke Belmar's content is openly mocking it.
Well, actually, there's a side benefit here that Luke Belmar might be willing to point out, which is it got him to go up and talk to these girls. And, you know, plenty of younger men are having trouble actually starting conversations in the real world with women. He can write a chapter on it for his next course.
Bro got no digits, though, is the problem.
Probably gave him Snapchat.
Yeah. And in this next one, Luke Belmar asks his followers at the Capitol Club meetup if they've ever sat down with a piece of paper and brainstormed.
Okay, here we go.
With a blank piece of paper and just like brainstormed. Ever heard that?
Have you
He scratches his head.
have you ever heard that term, bro? Brainstorming? I was telling Mary before the show, I said, when I think of brainstorming, I think of Venn diagrams.
It's the
Like,
way,
have you
for
ever
me,
just
it's
sat
the
there?
way that he itches his head.
When was the last time you sat down with a
After,
blank
like a
piece of
monkey.
paper and just like brainstormed?
Sometimes, Mary, like before the show, I make one circle and it's my ideas. I make another circle, it's your ideas. And then sometimes right there in the middle, our ideas. Have you ever thought about that, Mary?
You're sort of like
Our
Kamala
ideas.
Harris. She loves Venn diagrams.
Like, there's a reason this show works. It's because I'm out here every day masterminding. I got to find out, what does Mary want to talk about? What do I want to talk about? What do we want to talk about?
Yeah.
Right there in the middle.
Yeah.
That's magic.
Impact. Deliverables.
That's what it's like to be a mastermind.
Yeah. Few know this. And then lastly, this is him giving them problem-solving advice.
I got a problem at the top. Lit right out the problem. Give me a fucking 100 solutions for that problem. Oh, I don't know what to, chill the fuck out. What is going to happen? Relax, G.
Okay.
So when you're
Calm down.
brainstorming about how to solve a problem, you write problem at the top of the paper, and then you list out all the solutions for the problem. That's how you enter into the Sigma male grind set.
So where's this course available? I need to look it up. Just for research purposes.
It's just so sad that this actually has an audience, though. Like, I know for the most part this guy is getting dunked on, but there are people who've paid thousands of dollars, as you can see in that video, to stand in front of him and take notes on all of the bullshit that he's saying.
Well, then somebody has to ask the question. You know, he's obviously doing something right because people are listening to him.
What is that exactly?
I have no idea.
Because my theory is that these types of influencers are mostly popular because men have been ghettoized into this internet subculture. The mass culture is feminized. Yeah. The mass culture is female dominated. So men, especially young men, are ghettoized both in real life and online into spaces like this. Yeah. And again, sadly, for a majority of them, they're not coming from an upbringing with strong male leadership. And this is the first shade that they've come across of anything, any semblance of that. And that's why it resonates, even though there's hardly any substance to it.
Yeah.
We have a 20 from Bender McSimpson. Problem: who would you cast to play each other in a PCC movie?
Who would you cast to play you in a movie? I don't know who I would cast.
We have been asked this before.
I have no idea.
A lot of people have said that you look like Dana Carvey.
Let's go. Young Dana Carvey. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I would assume they mean
I would cast Joshua Bitton for me. He looks nothing like me, but he's short. So
no, Tom Cruise. We're casting Tom Cruise in the PCC movie. And me, what would you say for me?
We're gonna widen Anya Taylor-Joy's cheeks, and we're gonna put her eyes closer together.
Okay, assuming the surgeries aren't possible, though, who else is on the...
I mean, the one for me is easier because it's just like, who's short? Like, I don't know.
They don't need to be short. Angles do all the work.
Who would we...
I've always said, like, Dakota Fanning.
Yes, one of the Fannings. Because they're blonde and they're both on the fairer skin side.
Yeah, they're pale and blonde.
Let's go. Which one is younger? Elle
Fanning, but I look more like Dakota Fanning.
Then Dakota Fanning.
So we'll go with
Dakota Fanning. I think that's actually really good casting.
Yeah. But do you agree with my theory on that? With the Sigma influencers?
I mean,
or is there something more to it that I'm not seeing?
I think part of it is that it's got this circular identity because it's so mimetic too, and it can pull people in more ways than one. Meaning, like, there are the people who genuinely buy into this stuff, and then there's people like me who know it exists because of the memes, because the memes are hilarious.
That's me, actually. Yeah. I would not have organically come across this content because I'm not the target demographic for it, but I do see how it's gained traction and an appeal. But I looked into Luke Belmar some more and like why people are accusing him of being a scammer. Here were some of the red flags raised about his Capital Club e-course. He has no real experience in the business world. He claims to have made millions through investing and other business ventures. However, there is no evidence to support his claims. In fact, it appears that Luke Belmar has never actually started or run a successful business. I guess with the exception of Capital Club, which the business model of Capital Club is just giving people business advice, which he doesn't have. He uses hype and exaggeration to sell his course. In his sales pitch, he promises his course will teach people how to make millions of dollars in a short amount of time. However, there is no evidence to support this claim. He offers no guarantees that his course will help people make money. In fact, he specifically states that he is not liable for any losses people incur as a result of following his advice.
I mean, that would be true of anybody who's offering any financial advice, because there's that disclaimer that they give every time.
Several people have come forward to accuse Luke Belmar of scamming them. They claim that Belmar took their money and then failed to deliver on his promises. If you are considering buying the Capital Club course, I urge you to do research first. There's a lot of evidence that suggests Belmar is not to be trusted. You should not give him your money.
Yeah.
I agree.
Can I ask a question? What is the female equivalent to this?
Oh, there are so many. A lot of astrology chicks. The astrology chicks on social media, for sure, are selling courses. They're selling readings. They're selling tarot readings.
Put a girl on.
Thank you. But more than that, it goes deeper than that.
I imagine that the libertarians have no problem with this. They're like, look, if you're not smart enough to keep your money, then I guess you don't deserve it.
Thank you for that, party. But yeah, the astrology chicks are selling women the idea that they can control their relationships and other people, and that is appealing to a wide audience. And then, aside from that, I see a lot of female influencers selling... maybe not ebooks or like e-courses per se, but they're selling content that is looks maxing for women, but it's more, how do I even express this? It's more about like how to channel your divine feminine energy. It's that type of thing.
Yes.
So it's like basically selling women tactics to manipulate.
When I see, I know one, not personally, but it's like mind hacking and energy for women.
Which is also kind of a form of witchcraft as well.
Yeah.
So when it comes to the female equivalent of a Luke Belmar, they may not be as famous because, as I said, the mass culture is already female dominated. So most of the female influencers are just hawking makeup and skincare and lifestyle content. But the ones who are certifiable scam artists are the ones talking about crystals, talking about tarot cards, and trying to tell you your future.
All right. Oh, and before we go to the final super chats, I did find this, like, oddly enough, just before we went live. It says, "This is your sign to host a masterminding dinner with other men."
Oh, really?
Last night, I hosted a dinner party for a group of sensational men who were all five-figure earners. My goal for the night was to create an intimate space where we could break bread, share knowledge, and connect on a deep level. I also requested that no one bring alcohol so that we could have genuine, high-level conversations.
So you're actually telling me you would take one John Cena in a fight over 10 Joe Biden?
Yeah, well, at least I didn't say Nala from The Lion King is hotter than Lola Bunny. He didn't say she was sexier. He said that she'd be a less selfish lover.
As if you virgins would know anything about lovemaking. Well, look who decided to pipe up, coward.
It really is true you're the average of those you spend the most time around, and I'd highly encourage all men looking to grow both financially and emotionally that you host a dinner like this one.
I like that he pulled the dude's shoe off.
Iron sharpens iron.
Rising tide lifts all boats.
Let's finish up these super chats. Gordon Shumway said, "Mary, will you be sad if Taco Bell discontinues the Crunchwrap slider before Lent is over?" I tried the Crunchwrap sliders before Lent, and they were nothing to write home about. Actually, no. The Crunchwrap sliders were something to write home about to warn people at home not to try them. Yeah. They weren't good. It was a total scam. So I'm not going to be sad about that at all. I hope they do. Weary Traveler said, "Blake Shelton is from Oklahoma, so it's probably in reference to that. I moved to Oklahoma 2 years ago, and it's not that bad." Yeah, I'm sure you'd rather live in Oklahoma than LA these days. I don't know what point that person was trying to make. Greg Duvier said, "According to Grok, approximately 62 to 68% of adults in the United States identify as Christian." Yeah. I wonder if that's going down. Because I might say it is declining, but I could be wrong. I could be surprised.
I mean, I thought it was 70, so it's around where I thought it was.
Yeah. But, like, I don't know. Are they just saying that because it's like a cultural identity or because they believe it?
I mean, that also might be the type of thing. Like, we think about these things. Like, I've told you before that, like, even using a phrase where it's like, I avoid using the phrase, like, the idea of, like, feeling blessed, because then people are like, oh, yeah? Yeah? But a lot of people, they don't think about it that deeply.
You mean that they ask you, like,
if they're cultural, if they're
blessed
just,
you?
Yeah, like if they're a person who doesn't care about the culture war and they're not in the insane sphere that we are, maybe they go to church at Easter and Christmas.
Priester. They call it priester.
and they maybe they got their confirmation, but then kind of fell off after a period of time. But it doesn't mean they don't identify with it anymore. They haven't been subjected to the same level of like anti-Christian or anti-Catholic sentiment that some of the people who are more heavily into their faith do.
I was just saying there's a silver lining in the decline of church attendance and religiosity in this country because it creates an atmosphere of actual sincere belief in the churches, because those are the people who are going to stay there. The people who leave are the ones who are indifferent to it, and I think that could actually be a good thing that revives faith.
It was like the other day when I posted many such things that I feel grateful for, and they're like, grateful to whom?
It's crazy how you know what they're gonna say, and then you're still like flabbergasted.
I'm just like, bro.
Did you reply ever?
No, like you said, like if I like it makes me roll my eyes. It's I do like. I imagine it's the same type of person who like was driving by like a kid's Christmas party and says like Santa's not real. You know what I mean? Like you're like, because it's the idea that you show up out of nowhere to like
from under the
ruin
bridge,
the vibe,
like a bridge troll.
Like I actually think it's more dignified to just like have your opinions amongst those in your circle and to not just force it on people. Like there's a difference between talking about it and disagreeing with someone, or even disliking someone and dunking on them, and then actually going up to that person being like, oh, you're like you're, first of all, you're not changing their opinion on anything. And most of the time it is the same way. A lot of times the people are like, I'm not an asshole, I just tell the truth. You're an asshole. Usually. You are. You're a piece of shit, and you want to be a piece of shit to other people.
Meanwhile, I'm like, I'm an asshole.
But even then, we're doing it on the show. Like you're not going up to Luke Belmar and being like, hey, you're a fucking loser. Maybe you would if you saw him in person.
I would question him.
But you know what I'm saying, right? Like that's like social decorum existed for a reason, and your ignoring of it is one of the many reasons
That's what
society sucks.
we bring up every time that the guests who are debating on culture war end the stream, and then they hang out downstairs and they're just having lunch together like nothing ever happened. That's how most people relate.
Yep.
It's not like what you saw on camera.
It's
That's
like everybody's
version.
Everybody's fighting. They get done. They're like, oh, that was great. I'm like, what?
Yeah. Michael said, Mary, I loved you in Dark Crystal. Gelfling. I have never seen that. Have you?
I have not seen Dark Crystal.
Okay. Gordon Shumway said, don't feel bad, Brett. I always thought C4 smelled like powdered grape. Powdered
grape
Kool-Aid.
Yep.
Never ate it though.
So were you making like shape charges and like yum explosives?
Wait, is C4 referring to something else?
No, it's an explosive.
Oh. Yeah, don't eat that. Shane H. Wilder said Vice doesn't want the Gongo to have packing peanuts. Seriously. They pretend.
See, I think the Gongo would have probably the only difference is like thanks to Elon Musk there'll be no like courses on gender affirming care in the Gongo because USAID has been stripped of all its funding.
We live in a dystopia.
I'm ending the poll because it was requested.
Okay.
80% of you say you brainstorm all the time. You're always masterminding.
Well, that means you better be joining the Capital Club. That's where people go to mastermind together. Shane H. Wilder said, did she really try to clap back with West Side Story? Dog, don't clap back with a box office bomb, making only $76 million on a $100 million budget.
Yeah, I mean, look, it was a Spielberg movie, right? And nobody wanted to see it.
It was her breakout role,
It was her breakout role. It did come out, like, still semi in COVID. I kind of give it a little bit of the COVID.
When?
2021.
Okay.
So, you know, like Top Gun Maverick.
Grace period.
Top Gun Maverick came out probably around the same time.
No, that was already spring 2022.
Okay.
That came out. So, not really. Yeah. JP Poole said, I listen to you all the time so much. People ask me if something is wrong with my phone or PC, and I tell them they work fine. I just love listening to you. Thank you for hours of fun.
Thank you. And thank you for watching. And
so people hear our show playing and they're like, is your computer broken?
Like it's the crisis party.
It might
the
be.
computer starts exploding and they're like, what the hell is going on?
Shane H. Wilder said, also, did anyone know that there is a new Looney Tunes movie out this weekend? I saw no promotion, but it looks bad from the trailer.
I did see that.
I had no idea.
It's like End of the World or something like that.
Why haven't they promoted it then?
I don't know. They seem to really hate Looney Tunes over there at Warner Brothers.
Well, why didn't Zaslav just slash it?
Should have. I get like that became one of my own, one of my personal.
Fruit Ninja. David Zaslav is like Fruit Ninja. He's just slashing. Imagine that Batgirl is a watermelon. He just slashed it in half.
Well, they also canceled the Acme movie.
Yes.
One of my on my worst day, my worst impulses is to like poke and prod at the people who got really upset at that movie getting canceled by Zaslav.
You know what I want?
So mad.
I don't even know if this is a Warner Brothers property now that I think of it. I want a live action Tom and Jerry movie with no voice acting, just music and sound effects.
Real animals.
Mm-hmm. Pop Culture Junkie said, regarding Snow White, watch the second weekend drop-off percentage will indicate word of mouth helping or hurting theater numbers before streaming.
Correct. If we see it in the high 50s to 60s, it's not looking good.
Shane H. Wilder said Tim's nightmare was being in a haunted house, but the ghosts were just people in the house seeing themselves because of a thinning in space-time?
It's exactly the type of thing I imagine him
How
having
the hell
as a
do you
nightmare.
even dream about something that's that internally coherent?
Yes.
What was your last nightmare, Brett?
I don't. I was
Do you
actually.
really even remember?
No, I never. So 2 weeks ago, I had about 5 days where I was having very vivid. I wouldn't remember them, but I was waking up having very vivid dreams and then losing them almost instantly. But I never dream. But just like last week, I was having very, very vivid dreams. I don't know if it was because I started new vitamin regimen,
vitamin B.
whatever it was, but I was having a rough time with it. But I don't
Like
remember my
nightmares?
dreams. Unsettling. Not nightmares, but unsettling. The only time I've ever had nightmares is like usually when there's something really, really stressful going on in life that affects my ability to sleep properly. Do you?
I remember my dreams on a very regular basis, but I usually don't write them down, so I don't have one off the top of my head. But something weird is that I've never had a dream where we're doing the show. Like
I've never.
Isn't
dreamed
that
about,
weird?
I've never dreamed about the show.
Well, you might have, but you don't remember. But I have not remembered a single dream where we're doing the show, even though that's something I do every day.
I mean, I used to have so this is a crazy one. So I would have dreams every so often about doing really, really, really insane skate tricks, but only if it was in a period of time where I wasn't skating consistently.
Yeah.
Like if I was off for injury or start of winter and you haven't eased into skating outside in the frickin' snow, which is always a thing. If I would go long enough without skating, I'd have very, very vivid dreams. Those I do remember. Those maybe it's because it's so tied directly to who I am, but I remember those dreams. And it was always, ironically enough, about skating skate parks, which I never did. Like it was like fulfilling my inability to use this type of obstacle really, really well. So I would dream that I was as good as like some of these dudes who've been skating park their whole lives. Whereas I've never had a dream about street skating, like handrails and ledges and lines and stuff like that, because that's stuff I do all the time. So it's like you're living it. So you'd be more likely to dream about something that you're not spending a lot of time on. I don't know.
If you had a superpower, would it relate to skating?
No.
No.
What
would it be then?
Perfect recall. It's not a superpower.
That's not
it's a real
superpower. That doesn't count. It has to be something no one has.
Teleportation.
Teleportation. That's a pretty good one.
Save time.
Yeah.
Save time. Like the amount of
and money, obviously.
Think about the amount of ways in which your life would grow easier.
I always think about being able to pause time just to sleep in longer. That's the dumbest thing ever, but I would love to be the only person that doesn't have to sleep. Shane H. Wilder said, we won't even get our lively Baldoni bread and circus. I want my bread and circus, damn it. Even if Baldoni wins, he still loses because he's a feminist. Yeah, they do lose in the end. The nice guys do, in fact, finish last.
I don't know. He's got a wife and kids. They seem happy. If they get divorced, we can revisit that situation.
You have to look in the mirror every day and see a man in a man bun.
You're asking for
a
certain level of introspection that I don't think is actually prevalent in most people.
No. Pat the Plumber said, I'm on team lawyers in this lively Baldoni BS. both of the teams of lawyers? Okay, that's an interesting take. I'm not wrong, bruh on X sent a clip to PCC of Mary's leftist doppelganger.
Who is it?
I didn't know I had a leftist doppelganger. That would be the most attractive person on the left.
Physical doppelganger, or like personality wise, they're like the polar opposite of.
I'm guessing physically.
Yeah.
Interesting. The Last of My Kind said, small joke to laugh at. Yo mama's so fat that when she jumped for joy, she got stuck. Great.
If you ever want fun, listen to the old version of Fat by Weird Al Yankovic.
Oh, I'm sorry I missed this $20 super chat earlier, Weird Traveler. I studied what this man's favorite drink is, and it's totally not gay, bro.
Look, man, this is something that like agents and lawyers actually do, where you get to know somebody, and if like or CEOs or people who are making any type of business deal, you don't show up to a. One of the things they talk about with Trump is that one of the reasons he's so successful is he knows how boardrooms all over the world work. A boardroom in Japan is not the same thing as a boardroom in France. It's not the same thing as a boardroom in Germany. You get my point, right? Like customs are different. And if you're going to try and make a deal with somebody, it's important to have, I guess it wouldn't be considered opposition research, but to know the person so that you can know what might be good for them.
But I kind of like the idea of American businessmen just forcing handshakes on Japanese people.
Not learning.
Not bowing.
Well, I mean, or is the idea that it's when they come to your country, you observe their customs?
No. American customs
everywhere.
everywhere. We are the superpower
Colonialism.
of the globe. Yes. At least culturally. Shane H. Wilder said, Mary, for the V for Vendetta remake, I'd watch it. A revolution without dancing to crisis parties is a revolution not worth having.
So that would make you Natalie Portman in that movie?
Okay.
I don't think Mary would want to do the shaved head part.
Oh. Yeah, no.
You just know, you don't want to know why I know like actors, like we were talking the other day about actors who take roles where they have to do something they don't want to do, whether it's like same sex scenes. It's like, you know, the person, the woman or the man who's got great hair who's just itching to shave it off because the role demands it. They're like, yeah, I'll totally do it.
Who is that person?
It's going to be so. Well, I think she did it in that
Her
movie.
and...
I mean, for instance,
Emma Stone did that.
Brandon J. McLaren in season 3 of Graceland had like dreadlocks the whole show that were like down to here, and he cuts them off on the show, so they only get like one take. And you just know they're like, yes.
Those could have easily been faked.
But they were real. They were his
they
actual.
were real. It just didn't need to be. Omega Red fan said speedrun cringe thread videos are the new Gongo style. Johnny Walker in the war room because he studied. Bender McSimpson said, oh, I already read that one. Jewish AF of Christendom said polyamorous BIPOC non-binaries of the Gongo unite.
Yes.
We support the polyamorous
we need
BIPOC
like
non-binaries.
we need some type of like UNICEF type shirt that says support for the Gongo. Where's Jessica? We need Jessica to make
Where's
merch.
Jessica when we need her? No Control said a young Christina Ricci to play Mary.
That's a really good suggestion, actually. She actually has a facial structure pretty similar to yours.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
It's so weird that she coming up lately because first thing I ever saw was Casper. Ever see the original Casper with Devon Sawa?
Oh, yeah. Her as a child looks more like me than her now.
And as an adult?
Yeah.
I mean, I think she grew into like, she looks like the adult version of the child
she
version
has
of herself.
defined
She didn't change.
cheekbones now. Shane H. Wilder said dogs brainstorming and problem solving advice just makes both tasks harder than they need to be. We need dads to teach boys how to do this right. We need dads who will yell at you that you're not holding the flashlight correctly. That's what we need. DC&C said, I'm late, but it's the normal time. Daylight savings changed already somewhere, either where you are or where I am, but not both. Whatever. Who doesn't brainstorm? Did I miss a meme? Sounds like you did. But look, I thought daylight savings was just in the U.S.
I brainstorm all the time.
Am I wrong?
I thought it was just in the U.S.
I also thought that Trump was going to get rid of it. But yet another
promise.
Nothing happens. Shane H. Wilder said, to quote Volbeat's song Still Counting all the assholes in the room. Well, I'm definitely not alone. I'm not alone.
The next tweet is literally one of the most offensive, or the next super chat is one of the most offensive super chats I've ever seen.
Well,
I look nothing.
We're just gonna. Wait
I'm actually this is violence, and I'm banning
Your
you.
words
Robert.
are violence.
Yes.
Robert said I'd cast you with Saul Rubinek and Dove Cameron.
That's so rude.
Would Dove Cameron play me?
Dove Cameron could play you.
I don't see it. Brian Bledsoe.
I'm gonna hold on to this one. Robert, you're banned.
Brian Bledsoe said, Justin, new TED Talk. Believe all women except that one who sued me. Remember, your super chat could be the one to heal the gongo with packing peanuts. It could. And it all makes a difference.
I mean, remember, the things most likely to go to the gongo are those, like, losing team shirts from the Super Bowl and the World Series where they have to make the shirts for both teams before they go to the championship. So then whatever the team loses, those shirts end up going to a third world country, likely funded by American NGOs.
Great stuff. The Nether Knight said, I can't blame you guys for not having seen The Dark Crystal. It came out well before you were born, but Mary does look like the female Gelfling. I don't even know when it came out.
Value in you says, Brett, you are Charlie Day. I will accept Charlie Day.
I guess I see it. Maybe just in your personality. I don't know. No Control said, my superpower is Total Recall 3 boobs. I don't know what that means.
Have you ever seen Total Recall? You should see Total Recall and you should see Time Cop.
Why?
I think you'd hate them both.
Okay, then why are you recommending them?
Especially Total Recall.
Can I catch a break?
No.
Pete Donovan said Manic Monday, Taco Tuesday, Woman Wednesday, Thrash Thursday. How about for making it to the end of the week, we call it Finish Line Friday?
That's pretty good.
We lost Woman Wednesday because we don't have guests on Wednesdays anymore.
Nobody loves us.
But I don't know. I'm here.
So it's every day.
I'm still here.
It's still Woman Wednesday.
Shane H. Wilder said no, Mary as a gender swapped V. So not Natalie.
Oh, so you would be actual V. I mean, we'd have to put you in some we'd have to give you that leg lengthening surgery and make you taller and more imposing.
Please no. Can you imagine how disturbing I would look?
I will compromise with you. We will do that if Hugo Weaving does the audio dubbing for Mary. She still has to be voiced by Hugo Weaving.
Pop Culture Junkie said brainstorming 70% of my freelance work. Love it.
Bro, that's why you're good at it.
You're a mastermind.
You should write a course.
You should have an ebook. High Voltage 75 said, I love that you did a whole segment on eating packing peanuts. What's next? A segment about the benefits of not returning your shopping cart?
Look, the beauty of this show is we don't have to do shit that's serious if we don't want to.
The beauty of this show is that we have total control.
Like, literally, I said to Mary, I said, we should cover this. She goes, no, that's stupid. I'm like, are you kidding me? Think of the thumbnail. Yeah. Gen Z is eating packing material.
Yeah. And I was like, no, you're actually cooking. I was seeing the vision. And I was like, I'm like the meme that's like, what does this have to do with burgers? What does this have to do with pop culture? High Voltage 75 said, Brett, did you watch The Running Man yet?
I still have not. I will watch it maybe this weekend if it's on streaming. I need to watch Running Man. There's a couple of movies that I need to watch, but that's one of them.
Rapscallion said it's always sunny on PCC.
Yes, it is. I also want to watch The Conversation, which I still have not seen. It's another one that's up there. I don't know if that's on any streaming services.
Pete Donovan said, Brett, being from Minnesota, have you ever told someone, why don't you purify yourself in the waters of Lake Minnetonka? Is that how I'm supposed to say it?
Yes, Lake Minnetonka. Growing up as a 20-something with Dave Chappelle was, yes.
Can you explain this?
It's a meme. It's a meme before memes existed from Dave Chappelle.
What's the...
and actually, I will answer the question. So I have actually been on a boat in Lake Minnetonka and yelled that, and it was the most basic bitch thing you could have done at that time, but it was a rite of passage for anybody my age because of the popularity of the Chappelle Show.
Well, are you going to explain it?
No.
Oh, okay. Is it just too inappropriate?
I just don't. Yeah.
All right. DC and
not even inappropriate. It's just you'll just be like, okay, whatever.
Okay. It came better from him.
Charlie Murphy.
DCNC said some states in Australia in the same time zone do daylight savings and others don't. It's super confusing. It confuses the cows, and according to politicians there, causes cancer?
What?
I've never heard of daylight savings causing cancer, but who knows?
DCNC says Brett hasn't seen Running Man. Jeez, man. Look, there are literally like probably thousands upon thousands of movies that everyone has seen that I just have not. There's just endless examples of that. Doesn't bother me. I'll get around to a lot of them someday. More often than not, though, now in the streaming era, what it is like I watched The Net for the first time with Sandra Bullock, and it was only because I was like bored out of my mind, clicking through streaming, just desperate for something to watch. I'm like, I remember that cover from when I was a kid. So now all of the movies that I never got around to seeing that I do finally see, it's because I pass it in streaming and I'm like, oh, okay. But it's just like, am I going to go out and buy that now in my 40s or my late 30s, like a movie that I've never seen? No, I'm not going to do that. So,
you know what you should do though? You should watch Scream Queens.
I'm halfway through one episode. I'll get there.
One day.
Your recommendation matters more than most.
Wow, that makes me feel special.
It should make you feel very special. All right, guys, before we go, would you all hit the like button, please? Actually, we're about 2/3 of the way or 3/4 of the way to a third crisis party.
We would need we need $25 for the next crisis party. We have one more super chat from the Manic Mustache. Happy Friday. Don't forget to stay toxic, my friends, and keep the gongo on your thoughts this weekend. Couldn't agree more.
We agree with you all very much, guys. President-elect Pressure 609 says Brett is 40 confirmed.
Not yet.
I'll be 39 in July.
Yeah.
So, guys, before we go, hit the like button on this video and subscribe to the channel if you guys are new here and you have not subscribed here yet. Alrighty, if you came here from on Mary's request from yesterday on IRL, you better be hitting the subscribe button. Mary, where can they find you?
One more from Pop Culture Junkie. Marilu Henner has hyperthymesia. Thymesia, total recall.
So hyperthymesia is like you can remember every single moment of every. There's actually a really, really funny show starring. Or not. Okay, it's not funny. It's kind of cringe. And
Okay.
I love it. There was a police procedural called Unforgettable, starring Poppy Montgomery, which is based on where she's like a police officer, like a detective who has that condition. And it's based on, I don't know if it's based on, it's based on a real person. And it's really funny because the person she plays, the real person was a consultant on the show. And I'm sure she was just like making herself way cooler than she actually is in the real world.
Sounds like something you don't want though.
Like the condition, yeah.
That sounds awful.
They did an episode of House on it, Reset the House Clock, about that condition, where basically the lady who talks about it, who has it in the episode of House, is like, you would hate it. Like all your friends and family, everyone you've ever argued with, you can never forgive them because you remember you're as angry about it now as you were the day it happened.
I'm not sure if I even totally believe Marilu Henner's claim, but we should actually do a little bit of a deep dive into that.
That'd be good. And also, fun fact, so the movie Novocaine is coming out with Jack Quaid about a guy who's trying to rescue his girlfriend who's been kidnapped, and he has a condition called SEPA where he doesn't feel pain. And Jeremy Johns did a review. He goes, and when I heard that, did you think the same thing I did? The condition from season 3, episode 14 of House? And I was like, yes, exactly. The one from season 3, episode 13 or 14 of House, or whatever episode it was, where House tries to harvest the cells from this woman so that he can create like muscular tissue that won't have pain in his bad leg. But it's a great concept for a movie where a guy's just trying to rescue someone and can't feel the pain that like a guy like stabs him through the hand, he doesn't feel it. They're fighting, a gun gets thrown in like a hot vat of grease, and he just reaches into the hot vat of grease and pulls it out. It becomes a gag.
That's a good.
I think I might go. I was gonna go see that one instead of Black Bag.
Idea.
So
we have a 20 from No Control, or sorry, 25. Party time, excellent. Now we're getting third party in a second here.
Yes.
You guys can send me validation on Instagram at Mary Archived, or you can send me hate on X. That is also Mary Archived.
Did we get the one from Pete Donovan?
Was there another one?
Chubby. Did we get that one?
Chubby Checker Psycho Belgians in the Gongo.
In the Gongo. And then one more from Shane H. Wilder.
I don't see that one.
It says reset the house counter.
It's back to 0.
Yeah, that was a funny episode. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is my cardio.
The line I remember from that episode of House is she's listing off all the ways in which not being able to feel pain sucks. And she goes, boys can't hold me too long because I can overheat. He says, girls can't hold me for too long because I only pay for an hour. Guys, if you want to follow me, Instagram and Twix at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. This show is here 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is noon Pacific. We are on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify. If you would like to listen rather than watch this show, you can rate and review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. Ratings and reviews are also another great way to help the show grow, so thank you so much for that. And if you want to follow the show on social media, we are on Twix at popculture_show, Facebook at popculturecrisis, Instagram at popculturecrisispod. Remember, next week, guys, on Wednesday, episode 800, we will be starting the show at 2 p.m. It's going to be a lot of fun. We are celebrating. We hope that you all joining us then, as well as throughout the week, and we will be back on Monday. We'll see you then.
Bye.
Later, guys.